Alright, so we're maybe about 30 feet down this incline shaft, and we're at the first drift level of this mine. The top of the shaft was pretty crumbly, but in here it's pretty nice. You can see there's like an air tank up there with all the debris, and there's a drift running off this way, there's a drift running off behind me, and of course the shaft keeps going down. First, I'm gonna head over here though, so let me just cross over the shaft and I'll start filming. You can see right here there's a piece of a jug, the top of a jug. Looks like a bit of wood up here. There's a raise. This must have went up to the surface, I bet. We're pretty close to the surface. I said around the 30-foot level, but maybe like 40 to 50 feet actually below the surface. Oh cool, check out this door. There's also a dynamite box. And the head of a broom. Pretty neat. Huh. Not sure if this was for air control or they were storing stuff back here. Clogged up winze right there. The rock is pretty fractured in this section. You can tell by all the rockfall on the ground. That's a face, and this keeps going. And that is the face right there. Alright, so I'm going to go back to the shaft and explore the other drift across from this one. Alright, so I'm walking back, and I guess I just walked over this shoe. That's pretty neat. Look at all the nails in there. Yeah, so this is probably pretty old, maybe around turn of the century. There's also like a little strap right here. Alright, so I'm back here at the shaft. I just explored that drift over there. And now I'm going to go head down this drift. You can see there's some neat timbering in here. Bit of stacked rock. I'm guessing that was the airline. There's a really narrow stope going down that direction. You can see the material they were mining. That's the vein right over there. Alright, let's keep going down this drift. There's a mouse on that rock. Well, he just went underneath that piece of metal. Okay, it looks like we're breaking into another stope. So there's something going up here, only about 5 feet though. And this portion of the stope looks filled in. And it looks like we've reached the end of this drift. You can see there's a pretty neat stope heading down there. I'm guessing the lower levels connect to this. Alright, so I'm about 25 feet below the first drift level. You can see the ladder that I just climbed down. And I wouldn't say that I'm on a level right now. I'm sort of at an area where the stopes just break into the side of the shaft. Like you can see over there, that's a stope. And it also goes over here too. But that's clogged about 10 feet back there. But you can also see there's a broom head over there, and right here there's a bucket that was full of TPM, thinner paint, volatile. Interesting. And over here in the shaft, you can see the rails that the skip would be guided on, and you can also see the cable that would have controlled the skip. Usually you don't see those, so that's pretty neat. And right above it is a ore chute. So this would be the collecting point for all the ore from the first drift level. They would dump it into this bin above here, and then they would lower the skip down here and dump the ore into the skip and then haul it out. So now I'm going to go head down to the next drift level down. It looks like it's another 25 to 30 feet down from where I'm at. And then it looks like the shaft continues down another maybe 50 feet or more. Alright, so I'm at the second drift level. There's a lot of interesting timbering in here. It's all pretty hectic. So it looks like this mine was definitely a low budget operation. And right behind me there's some really cool miner's graffiti. Check this out. Some of it is in pencil and some of it is from a carbide lamp. I think that one says 1934. Looks like they're doing math too on this timber. 1958, 1940, 1941, and there's also some on this timber. Alright, so let's go check out this drift right here. You can see a piece of ventilation system and some large barrel. There's a drift running off this way. I kind of want to go check this one out first. Interesting timbering. Yeah, it looks like this was just a short drift or crosscut. That's it right there. Okay, there's a light bulb sitting on this barrel. Interesting. Doesn't say anything on it, unfortunately, but the drift keeps going. Oh, cool. There's a stope running up here. I bet that went up to the first drift level. We're probably looking down this. Looks like there's some more timbering up ahead. There's a ladder too. This is a pretty cool stope in here. Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the stope that we looked down from the end of the first drift level. This is it right here. Pretty neat ladder too, with these metal elbows. Hey, look, this must have been the vein right here. Interesting. Hey, I see you.
I see you. It keeps going down even more.
Really nice.
Yeah.
He's on the third drift level right now. Now it looks like this one ends right here. There's a mouse over there in its nest. And some miner's graffiti. Alright, so I'm still on the second drift level. I'm just on the other side of the shaft. And you can see that this drift right here had rails in it, although it looks like most of them were removed. I don't know if this was like part of the trapdoor or something. And right here there's an oil drum. Let's go see where this drift goes. There's another stope going down to the third level. Some more stopes up here. And look at all this miner's graffiti. It says George. This is 1934, 1941, 56 and 1940. Pretty cool. Another 1940 right here. There's a retaining wall above us, so there's a filled-in stope behind this. There's more miners graffiti. It says 15 feet deep. I'm guessing it's talking about that winze right there. 1938, 39. Huh. Looks like it goes deeper. Looks like it heads off to the left. Interesting. And the rails pick up right here. It says danger on that timber. Which is probably true. There's probably a ton of rocks above our heads right now. Just hope those timbers are solid. Yeah, the rails are probably left here because they're covered in rubble. They only took the ones that were free. Oh yeah, look. Here's a look at the felled stope above the hanging or above the retaining wall. Yeah, that's a lot of weight on these beams. You can see that one's cracking. Okay, looks like we have a junction. Guess I'll go right first. The rails head off to the left though. Alright, so I'm back at this junction. I just came from that drift. Now I'm going to head over here. You can see there's a pretty cool timbered archway into the drift. And there's some rails right here. And there's actually a winze right below it. Look at that. It's pretty deep. It looks to be about 40 feet down. And this drift continues. I have a feeling it's not going to continue much farther. Yep, that's it. Alright, so I've completed the second drift level. Now it's time to head down to the third one. Alright, so I'm on the third drift level. I was just sitting up over there, and you can see that a bunch of rubble has just flown in here and got clogged up on these timbers down here. The shaft is open further down though, so it looks like we can access another level if we can make it safely down there. Fortunately, I don't think we'll be able to get to the other side, or the drift level on the other side of the shaft on this level. The hole over there is too tight to squeeze in, but I was able to get into this one, so let's go check it out. Alright, you can see the air line on the left side right there. Also there's a pair of gloves on the floor. Looks like a receipt to something too. Huh. Doesn't look very old. And there's rails on this level, which are always cool to see. There's a ladder too. And it looks like we're coming up to a minor collapse, though this is easily passable. No worries about this one. You can see all the debris came from that chamber right there. And just beyond it there's an ore chute with someone's name on it. I can't make it out though. And this is the stope between the third and second level. There's a ladder in there too. Interesting. Alright, let's continue down the drift. Well, it doesn't look like it goes very far. That's it right there. So, this stope was the one that Xavier was looking up at me from, and I was looking down at him from probably that hole right there in the center. Alright, so I'm here at the 4th drift level. This is a shot looking up the shaft. As you can see, a bunch of debris has fallen in here from the higher levels. And right over here there's a short 15-foot drift with some rails and a mummified bird. I don't know if that's like a crow or an owl or something. And right here there's actually a false floor. The shaft did continue down past this level. We're not sure how far though. This could just be a sump, or it also looks like it may have gone down to another level. We're not so sure. There's some sort of old appliance that fell down here, and there's a drift running off this way that's pretty neat. So let's go head over there. You can see there's rails in this drift. And right over here it crosses over a winze. Goes down maybe 30 to 40 feet, although it looks like it just stops. We're not sure if this was like a filled-in ore bin that connected to a lower level, or if this was a winze that connected to a lower level, or if this was just a test winze that didn't lead anywhere. We can't tell, but the rail crosses over the winze. It's a false floor, so you got to be careful. Though we checked it and it's pretty solid. There's also a short raise up here. And there's a similar winze over here. There's a mouse on that timber. So this winze apparently doesn't lead anywhere. Xavier climbed down this ladder and said it just stopped. But the drift continues beyond it. And again, you got to be careful crossing these. And up ahead you can see an ore chute. There's also this very large bolt on the ground, or the floor of the tunnel. Not sure what that was used for. Maybe it had slusher buckets or something. This was a connecting point for it. But you can see there's an ore chute that says number 1 on it. And there's a raise going up here. Xavier is actually currently climbing up there. We think this must connect to that 3rd level drift that we could not access because of all the fill. So he's been gone up there for a while, so I'm guessing it leads to something substantial. But for now, let's finish exploring this level and then we'll head up there and meet him. There's another broom. This one has a mostly intact handle. Yeah, this is like the 3rd broom we've seen in the mine. Here's the other side of the chute. It says number 1 also. And the drift keeps going. Though maybe not for long. Yep, that's it. But there's some burlap bags, or canvas bags, and some dates. That's 40 something. That says 37. An interesting upside down triangle. Alright, so let's go climb up this raise and see what we'll find. Well, I just finished climbing up this winze, and man, I am out of breath, as you can probably tell. But guess what? It didn't go up to the 3rd level. It just went straight up to the 2nd level. I don't know if this view is familiar. If this isn't, then I'm sure this miner's graffiti is. And this retaining wall. So I would guess that that one drift on the 3rd level is not very extensive, because it probably would have connected to this winze if it was. So instead of heading back down there, we're just going to head to the main shaft and climb back down and get our bags and then head back up. I believe we explored all of this mine that we could. It was a pretty neat one actually. Wasn't too big, but had some of everything, I guess.